Can you still hear me?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Terrestrial Material, where we talk about the material us terrestrials are interested in. Mostly we're going to focus on MMA, UFOs, MMA, and gaming. Mostly UFOs, though, for sure. I'm your host, Ice Cream Shots. I will hopefully have my co-host here. Hopefully all the episodes will be very, very nice. It's always good to talk to somebody. But yeah, I've been thinking about doing a podcast for quite a long time. Just haven't really got around the gumption to start it, or really haven't seen ufology in a spot where it made the most sense to start it. Now seems pretty good. We just had the hearings that happened, and I'm sorry, I'm not gonna look at the camera every 2 seconds. I'm just not used to that yet. I'll probably get better for the intros. I can still hear you, Frenchie, by the way. So I really wanted to thank everybody for being here. Obviously, like, share, subscribe, all the things these YouTube guys say. But this podcast is completely for fun. This is just what I want out of a podcast, what I want to talk about, what I want to hear about. And so we will continue, and we've got to bring on my good buddy, Steve French. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Not much. It's been a long time. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, dude,
we've been wanting to do this for a while, which
Yeah.
is cool to finally be able to kind of start it like you said.
Yeah, 100%, dude. I've always wanted to, I guess, like, really look at, like, more into the details of certain parts of ufology and certain things that do come out about it that people kind of look over, or just, I don't know, just like takes that are just like so quickly made, and they don't really, people don't really take the time to think about what they're saying, and it doesn't really come across the best way that it probably could.
Yeah, I haven't followed it like a whole lot lately, but I don't know. It's one of those things that's always interesting to like listen to and watch and hear what other people's opinions about it are, because like you said, a lot of people don't have like a decent opinion about it, so they just kind of sit there and stick their head in their sand, which I like doing, but I also like hearing the opinions and stuff for my own, just kind of in the background though. So it's gonna be cool.
I mean,
and I'm excited to hear about the trials too, because I
Osiris or
right?
No, yeah. I mean, the trials were interesting, but like, dude, like, really, have you ever looked into any of this stuff at all, dude? Back in the day?
Like when we watched The Phenomenon was like the most that I was into it, and that was kind of like fell off after that. So not since then. That was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I've just kind of quit following any of it.
Not even as a kid? Like, did you ever even hear your parents ever talk about, like, your dad or anybody talk about
weird,
it?
Man. No, they never really like followed that kind of stuff. They literally complained and had opinions about everything else in the world, but something that would like actually be cool to have an opinion about. So we just kind of formed it ourselves, honestly, and did our own research. And because I don't know how much Stephanie's actually into it either, which is my sister, his wife. So I don't know what she would have to say about it either.
I mean, she's a lot,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because like even like before I brought up a lot of stuff about it, she talked about seeing certain lights when she was younger in the sky and kind of what that meant to her. So she's always been like interested in the topic for sure. She'll watch the stuff, dude, if I put it on. And she'll comment for sure. Like, you should have heard her during the hearings, bro. She was like, dude, she was popping off about everything that was going on. She was like, oh yeah, that's a good point. That was a good question, which is crazy because I never hear her say this stuff. Like it brings like another side of her out, and you can tell like she's really, really interested. I mean, it's your sister, man. You know how she gets like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. She'll go balls deep on something when she finds it that she likes it, man.
Yeah, one of the
no pun intended.
One of the congressmen in the hearing talked about he was like, "Oh, I can't believe that life is 50 billion years away in the galaxy. How they could get here or whatever like that." And Stephanie was like, that's not true. That's not that far away. Like that's not the
Right.
closest galaxy, or say the closest galaxy or whatever was like 50 billion years away. And she's like, that's bull. What do you mean? So it was cool to see her kind of like get into it, dude. You know, because me, you know me, bro. How long have I talked about this shit, dude?
Since I've known you. And that's been a long time. Let's see. I first met you when I was like 11. So 22 years,
Yeah,
21 years.
yeah,
Probably
it's
been dealing with that stuff and
yeah. No, it's been a long time, dude. Your camera was kind of lagging a little bit, dude. That's why I was kind of like
oh.
watching. I was like, oh, is it gonna come back?
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, you're a little bit behind. It looks like it'll probably catch back up.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
dude.
it
I mean,
will.
super duper long time, dude. Which has kind of, I don't know, man. It's kind of afforded me the ability to just really understand this from a different angle than like the kind of the world is getting it right now, dude, with like the hearings. And people really think that, you know, what everything that Grush said. Grush is the whistleblower, the big whistleblower, quote unquote. I mean, he doesn't have any
Yeah.
evidence. I don't really call him a whistleblower unless he has evidence, dude. But he's the guy that's getting up there saying it's, you know, it's by non-human and all that stuff. So people are just instantly latching onto it. But if you know like the backstory, French, about like who he's friends with and where they are all coming from and where he's possibly getting his information from, that these crash retrieval programs are real, dude. If the public knew, if they had the time to invest, I just think the whole opinion on this would be very, very different. You know,
Mm.
I think it'd be a lot more skepticism that's involved with it. I mean, because have you seen anywhere just out about anything about Grush prior to the hearings?
No, that's what's actually kind of crazy because when you mentioned like the trials and everything to me, I was like, well, I'll have to go do some research, which I never did. But I also nothing popped up on anything for me. So it's like I had no idea. Nothing. Nothing on Facebook, nothing on Instagram. Like even when you open up your browser on your phone, like I expected that to be something that never even like happened on the front page or anything. So it's weird.
Yeah,
So
that
it's like it takes a certain kind of person to like dive and look for it, and it's like they released it only like a certain way that only certain people that really are interested in can actually like see it and listen to them and watch the trials and stuff. Because I had no idea.
Yeah, it still seems like people have to dig. And the weirdest part of it, dude, is like every time they do these hearings or they do anything that seems like it's out in the open or a big disclosure movement, everyone always says, "Oh, this is for the public. This is for the public." And it's like, dude,
And
I
it
don't ever
never
hear that
has
the public
been.
even hears about it.
No, because they don't. It's I mean, it's always been a digging game though, ever since like this stuff's really been coming around. Um, I think that's why it's more of like a big hobby for people too, and like their opinions are like really cool because dude, you gotta go through all the time to dig to find what you want to find, and then that's just a little bit of it. So it's like, holy shit, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much, dude, to go through, and I was talking about this on Goof On show, and then I know Cambion True Seekers, yeah, he had an open panel. I was kind of talking about this too. Is like the pitfalls that you usually have to go into, the process that you usually go into to understand really what's going on with this topic. It just takes so much time. And people say, oh, well, you know, the public is behind. Yeah, but they're not behind just like a year or two. They're behind 5, 10, 15 years of not only
Mhm.
knowledge, but experience. And I say experience because you have to like believe in everything kind of when you start. That's kind of where everybody begins, right?
Yeah.
Every story you're like, oh, that sounds pretty legit, man. There might be something on the moon, there could be something on Mars, right? And so you believe, and then if you've in my opinion got a brain and you have some deductive reasoning, over time you see, oh, okay, this person was telling me this story, they believed in this though too, and this became junk, and you realize that all of that stuff is junk, and you go for over hurdle after hurdle after hurdle of figuring out what's real and what's not. And it takes so long, and you end up kind of at where I am, which is this very wavering skeptic way, where it's like I believe that there's something there, that there's extraterrestrial something that's at the basis of all of it, but what we're being shown and what we're being told, man, I just think a lot of it's just our own tech at this point that we've reverse engineered.
I think so. And like with the whole having a brain thing, that's like one of the major parts of it too, is like a lot of people, they do believe the first thing that they read or see or hear, and that's just like in any topic in the world. So it's like you have that many more people that are like that out in the world. Then you have this topic where it's like you said, it's like, oh yeah, it seems legit, but then it's like, come on now. Like it's a bit outlandish. Like
But
let's bring it back a little bit and like look at the facts and details and
But this is what I want about the hearings because kind of the whole point of going through that was like this is what I think can be useful for the hearings. Like a lot of people looked at the hearings and said, "Oh, these guys just kind of told their own story again. We've heard for 4 or 5 years." That's true, but when they set up these congressional meetings, these hearings, and this committee, what they can do is they can start bringing these people in who they feel are credible and or people that we've heard tell stories a lot over the years, like Bob Lazar, and they either show up and their stuff is legit, we can check into it, or they don't show up and we can throw all of them in the wood chipper proverbially and move on. And the cool thing about that for the general public is it takes away that 5-10 year grind, like I mentioned before, these jumping over these obstacles, learning what's real, this whole belief process, and then not believing anymore and understanding what's real and what's not. Dude, it's so much time that I'm hoping these hearings can go ahead and kind of jump everybody, can cheat code everybody.
I think it will be. I think it's going to be like a good like public like kindling kind of for like everybody, because then like everybody kind of like is exposed to it at a heavy rate, and then more and more people are going to start talking about it, and that'll help fill that gap of like we're behind 5 or 6 or 7 years. The more people talk about it and catch other people around them up, so I mean, hopefully the trial should do that, in my opinion. It should be a great like public eye opener, and truth seekers will be like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. Or just general people, sitting at Thanksgiving talking about like, oh, remember the trials and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like let's start talking about this stuff more because it's cool. Like it's very interesting. And like for you to sit there and think like there's nothing else out there, man, that's just sad. Honestly, like come on.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I
come
agree.
on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be that would probably be the most depressing, worst thing is if it's just us, brother. There's no
Oh,
way
it,
though.
it would be a crash, dude, if we found out. But there's no way. There's absolutely no way.
Yeah, statistically, it just seems like it's just not even possible for it to be that way. And the other
But think
things
of the
that
system it would break too if it came out that it weren't, if it weren't true or is true. Like either way, the system that like we have as a society statistics, dude, it's just gonna go haywire, which
you
is
think
scary to think about, but
you think people will go crazy, bro? You do?
absolutely.
What do you think that
Men in
means,
Black,
though?
man. Humans are dumb, panicky creatures. You know it. I mean, come on.
Well, like, what does that mean, though? Like, what do you think? Is it buying toilet paper? Is it is it like the way they did for COVID, or is it
No, I think it's going to be another massive political like overhaul, and it just more fuel to the flame of corruption. And at that point, when people kind of have that knowledge to them, there's going to be a lot of bad people out there. They're going to try to do a lot of bad stuff with that knowledge once it's released. So I don't know. We'll see. It's kind of scary to think about, but I mean, so is COVID. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I mean, like you mean like to have that technology, like anti-gravitic, being able to essentially control
Black
time.
markets, it's going to be disgusting, guaranteed. I mean, that's going to be another big problem.
Well, it's kind of like, and this is some guy was saying this to me, dude. I can't remember. He said, "Well, he's like, oh, what you want the government to have some kind of hand in this technology, and how's it regulated?" And I'm thinking to myself, dude, that's the only real way to do it.
Somewhat, yeah.
Like you have to have some kind of governing body over it, because it's like this, man. Like we all think what Lockheed, Boeing, EG&G, these companies that are aerospace companies, they have this technology just squirreled away, dude, stashed away. I've had it for a long time. Imagine if those corporations had like nuclear weapons, man. Like, wouldn't you want some kind of oversight, some kind of check and balance system on nuclear weapons?
Sure,
like we
dude,
do?
yeah.
Of course we do. That's why we have it, right? It's the same idea with this technology, man. Like there needs to be some kind of system in place that can help govern it. You can't just have one company deal. You can't just have private corporation dealing with it by themselves, bro. It's too big of a deal.
Fuck no. And what was I just gonna say in my brain?
That's how it always goes, right?
Yeah, I know, because it was Fuck, go ahead.
It'll come back to you, dude.
It'll pop to me because
Yeah.
it was when you were talking about private companies and stuff.
Well, they're the
Oh,
ones that have it, but go ahead. Yeah.
right. Now I remember. I think it also depends on like if it is actually uncovered and truthful and everything. I think it also depends on like really the type of the technology that it is. Whether it's something super duper crazy, which obviously it could be, or it could be just something lame as a hot potato and just like, you know. I think the more advanced it is and like the more it could actually change things for us, I think the more people are going to go crazy about it.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it will be another like nuclear situation, but I don't know how they'll handle it because like it's just very different.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's so many implications, man. I mean, if you control gravity, bro, I mean, you could do so much. I
Right.
mean, but I mean, it'll change things. But there's a lot of people. Like, I don't know if you've seen that video, dude. It's kind of, I think, gone a little bit more viral. It's got a million or two views now of the girl wearing the hoodie. She's got the hoodie up, and she's like, "I don't care, the aliens are here, and I still got to pay my health insurance. I got all this stuff," and she's like, "I don't care about that." And it's like, it is going to change your life though, girl. I mean, yeah, I mean, it brings down the cost of like so much. I mean, energy, it's not going to be free. Okay, you're still gonna have people
No, it
that are
never will
they're,
be.
they're they're running the plants, right? Whatever, however the technology is housed or whatever, and still gonna need power lines if we're gonna use power lines to get it to you. All
Right.
those utilities are still gonna be there. Is it gonna probably be dirt cheap to run and to have? Yeah, that's for sure. Which that will dramatically change it. But mostly, it's like transportation's gonna be insane. I mean, you're going to be able to go anywhere you want in a matter of moments, if not just minutes, and you'll be able to transport goods that way. Just be able to travel. Imagine we could just go to Japan right now on the podcast, bro. You know what I mean?
Get sushi,
Yeah,
fucking get some ramen, and come right back.
and be right here. You know what I mean?
Right.
How those are things that are, and there's obviously more things that I'm just not even thinking of in the moment that it would change, but it would drastically change energy, and that's a big suck, man, on the economy. It's a big chunk of it. But I think at the end of the day, and I want to get your take on this, dude. What do you think is the number one reason of why, if they've been covering this up, if it's all ET the way we've been thinking of, why do you think that they've been keeping it from people the most? Is it just freaking out? I know we kind of talked about that, but is it just that, or do you think it's other things?
I don't know. Honestly, I think it's just the general public and could also be that they're fully not prepared what they're going to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't really have a plan implemented on how they're going to like actually start rolling it out and, make changes to infrastructure and stuff like that. I think that's another reason why they're just kind of like, let's just wait a little bit. Cause I mean, it might be real. It could have been there for the last 10 years, but they just don't have any stability in making a plan to start rolling it out and making changes. And I mean, like I said, yeah, people are crazy. So you got to think about how to coax a crazy person into this kind of stuff, because there's factual people that follow it, and then there's just like your average loony. And it's like, okay,
Do
I don't really know which demographic to like roll this plan out to this demographic, and then this demographic roll this plan out to this. Like it's because it's going to have to be like multiple plans and like multiple procedures, and then start making changes to infrastructure and economy and all that stuff. I mean, you'd have to, right?
it's a really good point, dude. Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
ripping a band-aid off works, but I mean, fuck, we've had the band-aid ripped off of us how many times? And in most cases we're so desensitized to it, and then other cases it's like, whoa, it's just like the waves that it creates. It's just like, holy shit, like why, for what reason? Well, people are crazy. We don't
Nah,
have a plan.
yeah. I mean, dude, it's a huge point. I mean, if they bring it out, how long does it take for them to switch us off of nuclear or power at this point?
And think about that.
Yeah.
That would take a long time.
Yeah.
I bet. They would have to. I don't know if it would be in our lifetime if it came out, or if it would be after, but it would be a long time.
I mean, it would, like, people would lose jobs in certain areas, but there would be a lot of jobs that would be made too, right? I mean, people gotta put this stuff together. I mean,
I would think
dude?
so. But
I mean, whatever that entails.
you don't want
I'm
your
not an
average
engineer.
dummy putting the stuff together, though. So it's like, man, I mean, who knows? Maybe school will actually be worth it to go and get a degree in something like that.
Right.
Start bringing these fields back in some of these trades. It would be cool.
Well,
I
it
think it
would.
would change. It would 180 like all of that stuff, essentially in that aspect, which would be kind of cool. I don't know what it would do to the backside after you kind of twist everything, but
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, it's not.
every plus has its minus, I guess.
I mean, because I would assume that they would be able to make huge leaps in medicine too, right? Like it wouldn't just be physics in the sense of just technology. It would have to be something with medicine as well, right?
You would hope. And what's weird about that is like it seems like the medical field has just kind of like plateaued for like the longest time, really. I don't know. It's just like we still use the most outdated procedures and stuff to this day. Like if that makes sense,
Oh, I don't know
like
anything about medicine really, but yeah.
well, just like general like, anatomical stuff and like surgeries and just,
Yeah.
antibiotics and stuff like that. It's the stuff that we learned about, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and we still use it to this day, as opposed to like other fields where it's like, oh, we learned something new. Boom. We're using this now that we just figured out 10 years ago. Or we're using this piece of technology that we created 5 years ago and they're using it now. It's like medicine's just been chilling. It's just like, which is weird because it's such a big deal to people. You would think you would want a lot more research and development into that, and it would be cool. I think it would make a lot of changes.
Well, they got those robots and stuff they're using for surgery, right? Aren't they? They got some of those going now. I think they do.
You been watching House again?
I mean, hey, it's a good show. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, probably.
I mean, I would assume that yeah, I just would assume there'd be a lot of things that would go forward in medicine a lot. Dude, there's so many areas it would touch, bro. Like, right? I mean, there's so many
Minute
spots
that we don't think about.
Yeah. I mean, like we're gonna fit it all in right here. You know what I mean? We're gonna miss
Right.
stuff, and the people are gonna be like, "Yeah, why didn't you mention this, dummy?" It's like, yeah, you right, Doug. You got me, Doug. You know? No, I just no, I just I mean, I want it out. I want to know the truth, dude. Listen. But here's the thing with me, is I am 100% open to whatever ends up being the answer. You know, I'm not going to get an answer, and if it's the one I don't want, I'm not going to say no. It's actually still this thing. It's still a conspiracy. Let's drag this on for another fucking 100 years. Okay, I'm not. Well, I get how many Fs I get? YouTube, I get one.
No, in the first minute you get zero.
Oh,
Then
okay.
You're good after that.
Oh, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
But there might be little baby ears. You know, we're trying to keep a lot of that out. But no, I just I don't care if it ends up being, in my opinion, the crazy odds that since the 30s we just happened to have the two physicists that were able to crack anti-grav, and since the 30s no one else has but us since then. I mean, okay, I think those odds are about as horrible as it is that we're alone in the universe.
Right.
Because then at that point in time, you're saying that not only is the government 40 or 50 years ahead of time, if they cracked grav in the 30s, we're hundreds, if not thousands of years ahead in technology than everybody else. And it's been that way for 80 years, 90 years.
Right.
So, I mean, the odds of that to me seem crazy. So, but if it ends up being that, fine. If it ends up being ET, as far as, from somewhere else, I mean, cool. I just hope they're chill. I mean, it seems like they are. They haven't took us out. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, for what reason would they take us out for? Half our resources are half gone and everything, man. I mean, come on. If there really is other stuff out there and they're just like, dude, I have no reason to go to this side of the galaxy. Like it's a different territory for what reason? I think that's another reason also why people would panic and freak out, obviously, is like the hostility of it. People get these crazy thoughts in their head of anything ET and anything alien, which isn't just actually aliens. The meaning and word alien is for a reason. And, people freak out and people don't. I don't think they'd be hostile if it was ET. I think they'd be pretty chill.
No, I mean, I think that we'd already know, right? I think the odds are we'd already know, man. I mean, they could have been hostile to certain things. Like, I mean, abductions are supposedly a thing. I mean, I'm not 100% sold on it. I used to, like I said, you go through the process. I used to be on board with a lot of that stuff, but I'm at the point now where I gotta have evidence. So stuff like that just doesn't really stick to me anymore. Like, I hear your story, cool. I'd like some proof. That'd be excellent. Not saying
Well, that's
it didn't
the
happen.
biggest thing too, is like proof.
Yeah, but no, I think really what it comes down to, in my opinion, is that they probably made us, man. It's tough to say, you know, in a lot of ways that this might be a planet. Some people say simulation, right? The world's a simulation. I don't know if it's
I don't think it's
simulation. I
simulation.
think it's physical, man. At least it seems pretty physical to me.
I for sure lean on more of like what you said. Like, yeah, we were created by them.
Yeah, I could imagine them getting here, or being here before us, and then, you know, kind of burrowing away into the water and staying down there and kind of just watching
See
at us
what
and coming up.
happens.
Yeah, and watching our development and guiding it. Because I mean, they don't even know like where the doubling of the brain, right? Isn't that what it is? The doubling of the the brain?
I think so.
Yeah. A lot of people, there's people that attribute it to, you know, maybe they kind of pushed us forward in evolution a little bit. But what do you think about that? What do you think if it comes out and they say, hey, you know, the government says, or some of these whistleblowers come out of Lockheed or wherever they're at, and they say, hey, you know, not only did they make us, but, you know, religion and everything was created by them. It's not really real like you guys think. I mean, what do you think about that?
I think then there would be a lot of protesting on the streets. There would be a lot of people that I think that would be the one thing that would actually just ensue chaos. I mean, people have their beliefs and guidances and guidelines and codes and for a reason. And
Yeah.
that's their own personal reasons, but I mean to some people that's like everything. So if that was like just ripped right out right away from them, yeah, people would not be able to handle that. They would freak out. I think that might be the one thing that would never actually come to light, probably. I think that'll always be our modern mystery question, just because that's just something way too heavy for people.
You think they won't touch it?
I mean, if they touch it, it's gonna be very vague. It'll be like, yeah, they have some sort of influence on us and stuff like that, but they'll never ever come out and say whether it's true or not. Yeah, they created us. There's just no way, man.
I mean, this is what I've
Would
said.
lose their shit. Me, I think it'd be cool. It'd be cool as hell. I'd be like, yeah, all
Yeah.
right. And it kind of makes sense when you think about it. Like something created us, you know, in my opinion. It's not like we were just like this little microorganism that just grew up. It's just strange, man, to think about.
Yeah. No, I mean, for my opinion, that's my number one reason of why they're not telling us. More than economy, more than money, more than anything is I think it's religion, man. I think they're worried about people freaking out. I mean, go tell the Middle East that their religion
Pillars of
isn't real, brother.
society, bro. Right.
You know,
Yeah,
go tell the
it's
Middle East that, dude, and see how that works out for you. You know what I mean?
not well.
That's, I mean, there's holy wars fought for thousands of years. These people are
Right.
fighting over religion. You roll up and just say, hey, yeah, by the way, everything you've been fighting for is
fake wheel dummy.
yeah, it's a fake wheel, dummy. I mean, come on, dude. I mean, what kind of a shock is that? I mean, how many cultures do you have built on scaffolding that's been created by religions and values and morals, brother? Morals. See, this is another part of it. If they come out and say, hey, it's not even just religious part, but like if they come out and say, hey, they created us and these things aren't real, well, you have a lot of people that don't kill and don't steal because of that stuff. And you might have some crazy people out there that said, hey, you know, if this ain't the thing and God ain't going to judge me,
Right.
I hate
Like
my
I
neighbor,
said,
man. I'm going to take
everything
him
to
out,
them.
you know? Yeah.
They
and
get
so,
that rip from them, they're fucking gone.
yeah, it's like the purge a little bit at that point, you know? I mean, there's people that are that way, though, brother, right?
That's why, oh, absolutely. That's why I said for sure there'd be a lot of protests and rioting and stuff like that. I think it would take a while for it to really sink into people. But I think the more like people have time to like just really stew, especially about something like that, I think the more like the anger sharks are swimming in my head. Like I think it's gonna get to them.
Yeah, that was one thing that has always stuck with me that Tom DeLonge said in an interview back in the day for when TTSA and his whole group was starting, is he was alluding to that. Like that's like a lot of his philosophy is that, yeah, I mean, the religions are actually put here by them, were made by these ETs or non-human intelligence, interdimensionals, whatever you want to call them.
That's interesting to think about.
Yeah, and his whole thing was I remember him saying, he goes, I'm sitting in front of a church right now telling you this, and I'm just laughing, thinking a lot of people are going to be pissed. And it's like,
Right.
it's like, yeah, man. I mean, if that ends up being the case, yeah, that's, I don't know. I just think that's the biggest thing, dude. You can always make more money. You can always shift jobs, even though it's not easy and it's messy as all get out. But dude, the foundation of humanity is kind of built on that, man, and it would really shock
Yeah,
things for
think
sure.
about it. It's 17th century, 18th, 19th century, the Freemasons and all of them, and the Romans and the Catholics, and like you said, holy wars and land and stuff like that. I mean, shit was literally built upon that.
Yeah.
And most of those regions still stand by that to this day. It just wouldn't be good. It would be a mass fight for territory again, I'll tell you that. People would be like, oh hell yeah, like none of this is irrelevant, like or relevant, like, oh, let's get it. Let's go.
Well, that's my thing with Catholicism. The interesting part is that the Vatican is kind of the only religion that's talked about this, dude. I know. There was a pope. I can't remember which one it was. There's a lot of them, but he said not too recently, not too long ago, that hey, there are space brothers. If there are aliens, there are space brothers. And then the interesting is they're kind of get out in front of it a little bit. They're saying, hey, they're on our team and still believe everything we're saying, and they just fit right in. And then what I thought was interesting about that, Frenchie, is that Grush, that whistleblower, he's saying that there was a crash in Italy in the 30s, which a lot of people say it's debunked, it's not real. I haven't looked into it at all, so I don't know if it the validity of it, possibility at all. But what he says is that the Vatican stored that UFO for us. If I'm remembering right, this is what he's saying. The Vatican held that UFO for us, and then the U.S. came and got it from them. So essentially, I think it's pretty weird that the only religion that we know has any contact with any of it is the only religion that's come out and said, hey, this is maybe possible. What do you think?
I mean, you wouldn't say something and really stand by it, right? Unless you kind of had a reason to, like, which is, yeah, this is, I didn't know that. That's interesting that was even like a theory and a thing out there.
I
I didn't
know.
know
I'm
that.
gonna. You're gonna
I didn't know the
learn.
Vatican was like, hell yeah, brother, to the stars.
Is
I
he
mean,
see
that's
that?
cool though, because I mean, that's a big landmark and a big, following and stuff like that. So that's a good step in the right direction too. I
Bro,
mean,
it's huge.
a lot of people would trust it.
Catholicism, man. I mean, all of Russia. I mean, all these countries, man. The U.S. and Italy, and there's a lot of the Catholicism is everywhere, bro. It's huge.
See, I didn't
It's
know
got to
that.
be one of the top couple religions, right? Probably in the top 3 at least. I would assume. I don't know.
Assume so. If it's
Yeah,
like in Russia and stuff,
yeah. Muslim
mass
are.
countries.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be way up there, dude. But that's I mean, that's a big thing. And like, what do they do? Because the Vatican has underneath the Vatican, they say it's like 53 miles of shelving. The rumor is,
Jesus.
yeah, dude, of all of this secret, all these documents and like all of this stuff that's underneath there that you can't get to. That they have to give you permission. There's people that watch over that stuff. And you wonder, like, what's down there? What do they know at this point? And are we ever going to get to know any of that stuff? I mean, let's say the government comes out. Let's say Congress. Yeah, let's say Congress says, hey, this is legit. Do you think Catholicism, the Pope, they come out and start showing some of this stuff alongside? Like, it's a joint kind of disclosure thing, or no?
It's hard
Would
to
you do it that way? Yeah.
I mean, it depends on people's agendas, though. Too, you got to think about that. It's like if it is one of the most like mass, religions and followings and stuff like that, they might have a hidden agenda and be like, "Hey, come on, come over here, convert. Come on, let's do this." I don't think so, but there's always that possibility. I would do it that way, though.
Yeah.
I don't see why not. I mean, if you had no ill meaning or bad intentions or hidden agendas, and sure, why not? I mean, there's no reason not to. Not that I could think of.
Well, that's what I think too, is that, I find it odd that why hasn't the government, which I mean, in my opinion, at this point in time, if you look at kind of how the government's reacted to a lot of these hearings and a lot of, attempted disclosure, in my opinion, from a lot of people over the time, kind of like Lou's crew and everybody. If they were really interested in putting it out, why wouldn't they use these religions to filter it out through as well? Like the problem is like I mentioned earlier, like the Middle East, like if the Congress and everything comes out and they say, well, your religions are all not real, all of these things, or there's trouble with the religions. They don't even care about our Congress, bro. They don't care about what we say.
No.
You know, a lot of these countries over there don't like us. So why wouldn't you use these other religions to kind of filter it out and ease that process through, so it's not as much of a disaster, you know, if it comes through like that, you know, kind of like the Vatican's done.
I don't know. Do you think they've tried that in the past with anything before?
I have no idea.
It's like that's what my mind's like making me think of. Is like, have they actually already tried it like that before though? Because I think it goes back to like the whole religion and people standing with their beliefs and stuff. It's like, I don't know, some people like just don't really care at all. It's just they're stuck in their own religion. That's fine, you know, as far as like those beliefs go and stuff. So it's like, I don't know, because I think it would end up being like one of those things where it's like you can roll it out to this religion, this religion, this religion. But then I think all those individual religions would be like, okay, well, they're telling us all the same thing here. So what are they trying to do and why? It's like, well, just to ease it into you guys. But I think people are just still going to be like, you're not bringing us together for a reason. We have our beliefs, and that's cool. That's fine. But I mean, maybe this would be a chance to like just cut everything like that out of the equation and people can just kind of like relax for once in life and do their thing and go on and like, you know, if we find out that like all this is ET and this technology and stuff like that gives us a good foundation right then and there. Maybe that's the first step of their plan. I don't know, but that'd be a good first step. And then you can actually start and, you know, making changes to everything in the world, infrastructure, building changes, this and that. And it's like, I would want to do it that way, but I don't think people have that enough of an open mind to like really accept it that way and think that far ahead, you know? I think it's always going to be like a conquer and divide type thing, like in their own minds, which is unfortunate, but it might not be. I don't know. That's just what it
I
seems like
agree.
would happen to me.
No, I agree. I think that but I think you're always gonna tear the band-aid off no matter what. I don't think that there is really
Unfortunately.
yeah, I don't think there's really a foolproof way that completely eases it. I mean, how do you completely ease we're alone, we're not alone? Like how do you jump that?
Man, that's I mean, that's right next to the question of are we alone or not? I mean, that's like the
Yeah.
that question's the right leg, left leg. I mean, they're right next to each other. They're
Well,
right up there.
and here's what makes that question even harder to do is that you have a society now that's so like into, you know, imagery and video and evidence based off what we see, you know, that you have to show a picture. You're gonna have to show a video, dude. All I ever hear from anyone who's not super into the topic, like Luke Thomas was saying, I was listening to his MMA podcast this week. He said, "Oh, all that stuff's cool, but I need to see a video. I'm gonna need to see some evidence." You know, he doesn't follow the UFO stuff at all. So, how do you ease it when you're actually forced to rip the band-aid? It feels like they have to just rip the band-aid. There isn't a way because they're gonna have to show a video and say, "Hey, here's a UFO and it's flying like this," and then it cuts. Hey, that technology's there, and here's an image of the pilots. You know, whatever they look like, if they look like us, or I
It's
mean, what do you
gotta
think?
be how
Like,
it happens though, right?
I mean, do you feel that way though, brother? Do you need like an image? Do you need video at this point to really believe it?
No, I want like the physical proof of it more so.
Oh
I think
wow.
I think that would like make it a million times smoother for a lot of people. I would want to like set up like a test grounds or something like that. Hold a massive conference and you know stream it worldwide or whatever you want to do. That's fine. And run like the tests right then and there. You know, have your people at this conference that are there to show up. And that way it's not like, oh, well, I just saw the video. It's like, okay, well, I was there. And so we're like 80,000 other people, you know? I think that'd be a lot better way to do it. But it'd be hard to kind of set it up that way too. Cause, you know, a lot of people would be like such like skeptics again. They'd be like, I'm not tuning in for that shit. I don't care. Like,
Well,
I would want to be there. I think it'd be cool. Imagine how cool it would be to go there and watch like a test flight of stuff like that and have it revealed to you that way. Dude,
yeah,
that'd be better than going to any concert, festival, any event in the world, dude. Like that'd be so cool. That's what I want.
yeah. I mean, how cool would it be if they had this saucer that they were able to fly around and they just kind of like went from city to city and they set up like airfields and they're like, yeah, here it is, and the guy's gonna
Awesome.
go up in it, and this is the one we figured out how to fly. I mean,
Can you
yeah,
imagine
I
how
mean,
quiet it would be too? Like once people seen it, they'd just be like,
Yeah.
Shell shock, bro.
But no, dude, there's people. A lot of people are like you. That I've heard people say that too, where they're like, yeah, I mean, the video and the pictures, still not enough. I gotta see it. I gotta put my
Too
hand
hard
on
to
it or something.
sift through all the bullshit of all the pictures and videos nowadays. That's
Yeah,
why, like, when we first like started talking, it was like, man, you gotta dig so deep to like get even just a little bit of what you want nowadays. It's crazy. It's like I don't want to sift through all the videos and go through all the evidence and fact check. Like, just set me there in front of it and then beam me up, Scotty. I'm cool
yeah,
with that.
yeah. No, I mean, 100%. I mean, it's just a really interesting point that we're at with the whole topic is that like we've been, creating truth, from speculation because we don't have all the answer for so long. I mean, at this point, I want to see the truth of the speculation itself. I mean,
Right.
that's where I'm at. I completely just want to know, what do we have, and then see it. I mean, for me, I could take a video if it was, HD from a drone, like a US drone, and I'm starting to see, right angle turns and moves. I could take that if it was a high quality and be like, okay, yeah, there's
I
probably
definitely
legitimacy there.
absorb stuff like that, but
Yeah, the quality of the video's got to be pristine though, and this is kind of the
not
thing that
enough
they're
of it out
hanging their
there
hat
either.
on. Well, no, do they have it? I mean, in my opinion, they do. NASA, I think our Navy does, our Air Force does. I think they have a ton of this video, especially NASA. And God, dog, they're
Publicly
irritating me.
for us though. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're irritating me because they're holding on to all that stuff, and the new guy they got in there, that Bill Nelson who's running it, he's I kind of thought he was going to be on board with figuring out what was going on with all of this at this point, and they were going to be using the NASA sensors. Now he's saying, no, I'm going to put together a team, and they're going to decide whether or not they're going to use our sensors. It's like, hey, buddy, I think some of my money goes towards that 50 billion. Okay, we're going to use
Right.
this damn sensors. We're going to find out what's going on, but. I feel like a lot of that stuff is just kept from us, and they hide behind this whole, well, sources and methods. That's always the excuse for why they can't show that stuff. But like, when can we get past some of that at least? I mean, I'm sure we could blur some things off of the video. I mean, as far as like, the specs, or the UI that's on the HUD on it. Can we blur some of that and just get the
Right.
video? I mean, look, I understand we have clear video on our drones and our planes, and so does Russia. It's not going to shock them to see a crystal clear video from a jet and be like, oh, I didn't know they had video like that. Of course they do. I mean, everybody knows that we have this stuff. They know our capabilities to a certain level for sure. That level, can we just see everything from that level, and then we don't have to go higher?
It'd be great. I mean, I hope. It's crazy too to think about like military in general of like how much they might actually know. But like nobody ever really talks about that as much as like NASA and stuff like that. So I think it'd be really cool. And that would be another like major impact too with like all this technology and stuff is like the way military is and how the armed forces would work and stuff like that. I don't know what exactly it would do for them as far as like the technology and what they would use it for, but I know that would be a big like major change.
Yeah. Well, I mean, nukes are child's play at that point. It's nothing. They don't even
They have
matter.
been for a while.
Well, yeah. I mean, they really wouldn't matter anymore. I mean, force fields at that point are real. So like, what do you do? And that's a lot of people say. A lot of people ask, why aren't these other countries, talking about it too? And like why isn't Russia disclosing? Why isn't China or any of these other places? And I do think that it's partially an arms race. And they don't want each other to know how far they are. I could buy that
For sure.
excuse. Yeah, I could
Yeah.
buy that. But I also think that bro, that there's a little bit of work in between all of us in these countries. I think that there is some kind of a council, maybe not a council, but like, I think we work with them. I think there are secret. I mean, think about how secret these programs would have to be for us to still not know. There's got to be other countries that we do that
Everybody
also
would
have
have to
them.
know.
Yeah, yeah. And they have to have some coordination because otherwise, I mean, if they do figure it out enough, like if the U.S. has Tic Tacs, like this David Fravor guy is explaining, if Russia had that, dude, they wouldn't be losing in Ukraine. Like they wouldn't be having these wars in this long drawn out. They would just go ahead and take it over. So I mean, what do you think? I mean, do you think there's some kind of maybe a council or a group or some form of communication, an email chain these guys are on and they're working together? I mean, what do you think?
I mean, there would have to be. There's got to be a couple like baseball game meetings and stuff. I mean, that's the only way it would work. Something like that, rolling it out and like other countries knowing about it. There has to be some sort of like contractual agreements and stuff like that. It's like, okay, well, you can't say this and you can't say this. And when it actually does become publicly known and whether it's true or not, and if it is true, then okay, you get this part of the agreement of this technology and you get this part of this agreement and stuff like that. Cause I mean, at this point, they would already know everything that's there and what they can use it for and stuff like that. So they would probably have to have some sort of, individual contracts per country and like peace treaties and stuff like that. Be like, all right, don't mess it up. Like you hold up your end of the deal, I'll hold up mine, and like everything will be cool. And then
Yeah.
people won't freak out as much. If
Well, I
they
mean, they'll be
provide a
able to
complete
kind of put it
that.
off to their own people in an easier, more digestible way. Maybe I don't know, man. Maybe that's a hopeless thing. Social media reaches everywhere, and the U.S. is kind of all over the place. They're gonna have the Kardashians bring out the alien suit.
Right.
And maybe that's the real plan. Maybe that really gets everybody's attention at that point.
Contract. Everybody stay calm.
I actually, you know what, dude? That's an interesting thought. I mean, do you think that? I mean, they kind of tried to use Tom DeLonge a little bit, but he blew that whole thing. Which I mean, it doesn't really surprise me that he did. I mean, I enjoy their music, man, but I don't know if he's really the. I don't know if he's really the guy, who should probably be telling the world as the spokesperson for it. But
honestly, it just seemed like they drew the name out of a hat. It's like, all right.
Yeah,
Whatever,
no, I mean,
we'll roll with it.
dude, he was really, really used, man. I mean, they know his big interest in the topic. He has a lot of pull, and then they knew that if they could come in and even if it was fake, what they were showing him, they could get him to do probably participate.
Like, oh, yeah, I'll go out there and say that.
Yeah, for sure. I think he just wanted to be involved with the disclosure movement. I mean, you got to think about
Which
it.
would be
He's
cool.
Yeah. I mean, he's been in the topic so long, and imagine all the conversations that he's had over the years, through state to state, country to country, with people asking about it and talking about it. People probably laughing at him
and stuff. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody would want to, slam dunk it in everybody's face that it's true, I mean, it'd probably be him, right?
Yeah, I know. Honestly, I wouldn't want to do it. I feel like there'd be a lot of people that would be like, "Loser, idiot!" Like, there's that crazy guy. Like, no, I'm okay. We'll send somebody else out there that has a way higher reputation to where it's like, if it gets crushed, it's only crushed a little bit,
If he screws it up. Yeah, his Rogan interview was like horrible, man. I mean, after he did the interview with Rogan, he was on there like showing fake videos and saying, "Yeah, this is what this looks like." Dude, Rogan was clowning him too, like really bad, bro. I don't think that episode's really available anymore. I don't think it's on Spotify, and you probably got to dig for it. But yeah, dude, it was a horrible showing, and then that was it. You never heard anything from Tom ever again after that.
Well, there you go.
His group they pulled him out of there, bro. They're like, yeah, you're done. And that's when the new guy at that time, Lou Elizondo, the other guy who worked for the Pentagon, he kind of like took Tom's place.
Yeah, I remember more of like Elizondo than
really.
Tom DeLonge. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Because that's when I first started really talking about it with you, and then it rolled into like more of like the Bob Lazar stuff like that, and then I don't know, it just kind of plateaued from there.
Bro, like I said, Bob.
I will never forget like watching The Phenomenon though. That to me, that was like one of the coolest like documentaries and stuff about like all this that essentially we've been talking about. It's like, well, look at what they do hide, and what do you think would happen if this was brought to light for you? And it's very interesting. It's a very eye-opening documentary. It was probably one of the coolest things I watched about stuff like that.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, there's a lot of things that over time have shown through for me that I haven't been as happy with. A lot of it's just the sources, man. Like I don't care for Lou Elizondo. I think the guy is completely about himself. I think he wants disclosure. I think everyone in his crew, TTSA, everyone he's along with, it's kind of hard for me to bring up too many people because you won't know them. But like Chris Mellon and Bigelow and all these guys that are all together, everyone's kind of big theory in the skeptic area of all this at this point is that this has just been a big giant grift for money. And it's continuing to get bigger and bigger and bigger. That's why they're at Congress. Some people think that the Congress and them going there and them setting up all of this is kind of them making a new OSAP program again, which was the program that got the 22 million out of the New York Times article in 2017. So they're trying to do it on a bigger scale, I guess is a really quick way to put it. But like Elizondo and that whole crew, so many things have come out about him that just don't match up. Like so much of his story doesn't match up, like when he left the Pentagon and why he did, and which I thought was funny because he says that he didn't hear about TTSA and Tom DeLonge's whole organization until after he left the Pentagon. But if you go back and listen to Rogan's interview with Tom, he goes, "Oh yeah, I pulled Lou away from the Pentagon." Yeah, and there's a ton of other evidence too. Manny, Area 503, another real cool dude. It's on YouTube and Twitter a lot on the topic. He made that documentary called Who's Lou, and he breaks it all down on Elizondo. It's like 4 hours. It's really long.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's you should definitely check it out, dude. I'll have to get you a link so you can watch it. Dude, it's so interesting and you'll learn a lot. Like it'll catch you up on the whole topic a lot. But it shows you kind of more the background of Lou and where these guys might be coming from and where their true ambitions lie with everything. And it's changed a lot. Dude, my opinion, Frenchie, of this topic in the last 2 years of what I've really thought's going on and who I'm listening to and who I'm not, it's changed dramatically, dude. Like dramatically, man. Like I'm way more on the side.
Things, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, that's just it. It's just one of those things. It's one of those topics. Like, yeah, it's definitely going to change a lot of back and forth, I think, which is cool.
What's interesting, for sure, it gets frustrating though too, you know. Because I mean, I've went through the whole believe a certain thing and find out that it's bullshit so many times, and every time you get more and more pissed at it, and you want to just throw the topic out and never look at it again.
Right, and then you gotta find more about it that really, validates whatever it is for you again. And yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
I mean, it gets hard to want to stand. That was the biggest reason why I've waited so long to do this podcast. Was because, the last 2 years, the topic has irritated me so much because of how much we've learned that's been crap, and really my own thoughts on where this is going and the potential that they're actually going to tell us anything. Are we really going to get anywhere? It's been 70, 80 years, and how far has the football really been moved? And is it going to continue to progress? And what do these hearings mean? A lot of it, I can't lie though. I think the number one reason why I ended up starting this now is because I think those hearings can really, really give us a place to just sort out the wheat from the chaff and understand what's real, if they can get to it, if Congress can. I think there is a chance for it if it's there, if we do it that way. We're never going to have any chance other way. Yeah. Well, we can have a way to at least sort out some of the crap.
Yeah.
And like this Grush guy, for instance, we got, what is it? It's August now. My whole thing is, I think by the first quarter of next year, if we don't have either legitimate, proof of what he's saying that's true, or some kind of tell-all that's saying that, or if Congress simply comes back and says, hey, we can't, figure out anything that he's saying, whether or not it's real, it's buried that far. I mean, if it's buried that deep into these other programs and these SAPs, what are we doing here? I mean, We're never going to know. I mean, and at that point in time, I think that's the scariest thing for ufology is that if this Grush guy, because Frenchie, we've never had someone like this, because I know you didn't see the hearings, you don't know much about this Grush guy. We've never had someone come out and say this much with this kind of credentials that he has, especially in the format that he has now in these hearings under oath. We've never had this, man. So there's so much being built up, and Stephanie's right there. There's so much. Thank you, Steph. There's so much that's pressure that's being built up and expectation. So many people think it's coming for sure, and I think if it comes out that it's crap or that they can't verify it, I think it really sets ufology back, man, a long ways. I think we're going to lose a lot of people in the topic, man, and it's just really going to halt process a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's always gonna be like a major like blow to people's like morales and like interest in it, and like I said, a topic like this, which is it's kind of like really shitty because it's a really like good topic to like just not kind of like forget about, you know, like it's actually a very serious topic and conversation that can do a lot of good for a lot of people, and I mean also a lot of bad, but I mean we gotta quit thinking that way about it.
Well, I mean, what doesn't have two sides, though? I mean, there's obviously a
Right.
lot of benefits that are going to be had from it, and then there's a lot of potential for the worst shit we've ever seen. You know, I mean,
Right.
I mean, horrific stuff. I mean, at the same time, and who even knows what's already been horrifically done? I mean, this is what another thing he was talking about is they ask him, you know, have people been injured? Have people been killed over the topic? You know, he's essentially because he's like, well, I can go into that in a skiff, into a more secured area. We can talk about that, not a public thing. I mean, that every time they answer that like that French, it's always saying, yeah, yeah.
Just a little bit.
It just
Just a
means
couple
yes.
people.
I'm going to tell you. It's just I'm going to confirm it, and I'll give you the details later. But let me just confirm it for everybody and say I can't talk about it here. Because if it wasn't there, you wouldn't. You know, you just say no, right?
Yeah, but it's not like that's anything new though. I mean, stuff like that has been happening forever. I mean, as far as anything technology based or even like military based, like yeah, people die like in all sorts of tests and stuff like this and over the topic, and so it's like I don't think that'll be as much of a shock to people as like what other people think.
Well, what
I think
people
that's
think
something
are
to think about. Is like we're kind of used to it.
yeah, people are saying like murder though. I mean, not only just you know if you cut
Oh,
in
for
cut
sure.
in
Like the
yeah
corruption. Oh
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. That's why when you're like, yeah, it's crazy when he's been up there and released it with this credentials. I was gonna say that he's not dead yet. Like, kind of crazy.
Well. Here's the thing, though. It's all secondhand testimony, though. I mean, he's not saying he's firsthand seen all this stuff and dealt with it. He's saying that I've had the accesses and the clearances to go ahead and talk to the people that do have the firsthand knowledge. This is why I think it's just such a misnomer to call him a whistleblower because he doesn't have. Listen, a whistleblower is Edward Snowden. Let's just get it clear, okay?
Right. The
Snowden,
actual facts,
yeah.
everything. Like,
Listen, if you're blowing the whistle, okay, and you didn't have to move to Russia afterwards,
right.
if you're still living in the U.S., you ain't a whistleblower, brother. Okay, exactly. I mean this is like much bigger topic, even than what Snowden went through, and he actually had proof too. And he gone, dude. So I mean, I don't. It's hard to say you know he's an actual whistleblower. I think it's kind of a diss to Snowden a little bit to be able to say that this guy is one. It's kind of like, damn, dude. Snowden's sitting around there at home going, "What? I want to go home, man. He ain't the same guy,
right?"
You know,
sitting
like
in some shack eating beans out of a can. Like, man, this son of a bitch.
I mean, if it's even that good for him over there, I don't know.
It's probably not.
That's what's crazy with him too is he's never coming home. But yeah, I mean. They're supposed to have in the next hearings that are coming up, who knows whenever they are. But the rumor is that they've got 3 new witnesses. Well, 3 more were supposed to be there, is what people are saying, that were firsthand. Yeah, there were supposed to be ones and they backed out, supposedly. Which I guess, I don't know, maybe, you know. I at this point I could buy any I could yeah I mean I could go with that for sure. I mean I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's like sure, okay, you can prove it to me, whatever. So I mean the next one that's what I want is I want some firsthand witnesses and I want to see some proof, man, you know? We got to get to the proof.
Yeah, I want to hit the testing grounds, man.
We're far from that though.
Yeah, I know.
We're far from the testing grounds, you know. Shit, they don't even want to acknowledge it still. You know,
which is a shame.
Yeah, I hope we'll get somewhere with it, man. I hope. If we don't, if by the first quarter next year we don't know anything, bro, I'm gonna be sad because I've looked into this stuff for so long, and I just really want to get down to the truth of it at this point.
We'll really find out coming up with all these trials and stuff.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Oh God, I can hear you with that thing. Oh God.
My bad. I was trying to adjust my arm. It's like super weird, like sitting up here.
Oh God, it was cracking in my ears. No, I mean, I don't want to beat the hearings to death, and we went over a lot of it. We're here an hour, and I think this is probably a good little moment to transition, brother. What about
Is it an hour already?
Yeah, dude, I told you this was gonna go fast, bro.
Wow.
I told you it was gonna go fast. Yeah, we're already an hour in. So, gaming. Okay, because obviously, we both are quite big gamers. Which, by the way, that Marauders map and blank in the background is amazing. And you got the lava lamp back there, the OG.
Amazon special.
Yeah, yeah. Diablo 4, man. God almighty, is that not just the Call of Duty model that they've just slapped on that game at this
I'll tell you
point?
what, right now, even Ricky's convinced now because what we played the first 2 days of season and then we didn't. And then like a week later, he's like, "Man, you ain't been on Diablo." I was like, "No, I've been offline playing my Eternal character." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'm not doing season no more." I was like, "I've been an aesthetic core my whole life. That's all that is. It's just cosmetics and stuff
Yeah.
like that." I was like, "I don't care. It's not the juice isn't worth the squeeze for me." He goes, "Man, I was really into it because I've never been a cosmetic core." He goes, "Man, next season I ain't buying it until I watch like 2 days into it to find out really what's on the card and everything." I was like, "Yep, just going back to Eternal characters, just running dungeons, leveling up."
I mean, is it? Oh, okay. So is that the biggest reason why you switched back? Was just like you didn't want to re-level?
Yeah, pretty. Not only that, but just like it's. I mean, there's really nothing new, like other than like nerfs and buffs and like your patch changes and stuff like that. It's the same thing. It's really the same thing. And if I'm gonna spend my time doing the same thing, I'm gonna spend it on my one character that's already almost level 70, as opposed to my character that's at level like 23, and do the same thing over again just to get a helmet or like some resources. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna roll my OG character.
yeah. I mean, even the aesthetics, like the battle pass items, the free ones are a total joke. I mean, they like some stupid
Yeah, oh
pirate
yeah,
outfit. Like they're the most bland crap ever.
it's pretty awful.
I mean, they're just like, dude, please buy the battle pass. The free stuff is so bad. We're just like trying to force you. But the armor, the cosmetics, they're okay. The helmet's really cool. The rest of the gear, I think, is there's similar gear, and there's especially similar gear in the store for the barbarian, which is but it's okay. But I think the biggest fail of the season for me, man, is that I think you're right. There's no content difference, and the malignant hearts, those they would take up the gem slots.
Yeah.
Dude, they're just not interesting, man, and they're definitely not enough to carry. Like even 1 to 70 again. Oh my god, could you imagine playing to 100?
I haven't even hit 100.
I never have
What do you
either.
mean? I'm still working on it.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't even imagine playing the game because, like, dude, here's what I'll do with the game at this point is if I'm tired, it's like 10, 11 o'clock at night. I know I don't want to go to sleep yet, but I still kind of want a game, but I don't want to play like PvP Destiny. I don't want to do that. Yeah. I'll put my AirPods in, put a podcast on my phone, dude, and mute the TV, and I'll sit there and grind up and level up. Like, yeah, run some dungeons, run some side quests, whatever, to get the renown. With Jesus, dude, that system it's just so boring, man. Like there's just
terrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. Terrible. But it's just I'll get on there and I'll play and I'll probably hit maybe 2 or 3 levels, and at that point I'm just burnt, bro. I'm just burnt.
Well, yeah, because when you're that high up in level already, 3 levels is is a lot to get to. I mean, even just like your Paragon points and stuff, it's like, oh my god, dude, like just give it to me.
Yeah, I mean, it just to get to the Paragon board, just give me level 50. You know what I mean? And that was the crazy thing is they tried to block everybody off from just getting boosted to 52. You know what I mean?
You read that article about that stuff, people transferring their characters and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Transfer them over.
We'll ban your account. And people are like, I don't give a shit. I ain't doing this again.
Yeah, well, that was the crazy thing. Dude, I seen the video on that last night where the guy was showing that you can move your Eternal character into your season, all your money, everything. I was like, dude, no way,
man,
bro.
Part of me was like, looking pretty good.
Yeah, no, I thought about it too. I was like, I'm about to just move my whirlwind, dude, right on over. I don't want to level another one.
Ricky's like, you do it, I'll do it. I was like, do you mean that though?
Yeah, because dude, I didn't want, because like I'm back to running whirlwind barb again. I'm just like, this is the only build that I like, because when I play Diablo, dude, I want it to be mindless. I want to be able to just listen to something, grind out some gear, grind out some levels, and then get off, jump on, jump off when I want. Yeah. The rogue is cool. That's what I started with in the season. But dude, it's just so involved, man. You know, I gotta pop my buffs, and then I gotta hit one guy,
Yeah,
and then I gotta jump across here, then I gotta hit him, and I gotta jump
constantly
across
doing
here. It's
something.
constantly moving, which is, I mean, it's cool if you want to be engaged, but it's just not what I
Why
want out of
Ricky
the
loves
game.
it. He played
Yeah.
Necro like all through, D2, even to this day until Diablo 4 came out. He still only played D2. And he did like every class, level them up in D2 because he has nothing else to do. But he's like, man, I ran Necro for so long. He's like, man, I love Rogue. He's like, I just love moving around. I was like, yeah, I was like, me, I like just sitting back for once and just like, go ahead, do your thing. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, not me. I was like, because I started with Sorcerer in season and that's miserable too. Resource management and leveling up, dude. That's the absolute. I thought the Necro was bad. I'm like, I can't do this, man. It's
Bro,
rough.
it's so boring playing the sorcerer too.
You
Like,
get one round of skills and then that's it. And you're just running for your life, waiting for your like buffs. And then it's like, oh my God. I was like, I can't do this. Can't.
yeah. I mean, when you get full aspects, I'm sure it gets better, but like
It gets better.
the only thing I would want to try in the sorcerer is that Blizzard build looked kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think you just kind of stand in it and it just like permastun stuff or whatever. That looked kind of interesting.
Yeah, the build that I have now for it was leading up to that. But like I said, like even the resource management for something like that, it's like I don't even care. I'm just gonna wait. I'll keep running my Necro. But the Blizzard, like everybody says, like Sorcerer's super OP. Like obviously Barb is. And then like Rogues, I don't know if people are really saying they're super OP anymore. And then like Druid. I'm like, all right.
Yo,
I
I
just,
like
I just like my
Druid.
Necro.
Yeah, I mean,
Ricky does too. He loves his Druid.
yeah, I like it, dude. It's just it takes so long though to get it to where it's really feeling good though. I mean, the
Yeah.
process of getting that power up for it, and there's a couple aspects, one or two that you have to really let the character shine, and I think at least one of them is a drop that's random. So I mean, you got to get it on gear, and then when do you use it? Like I wish, like I get having some aspects be drops, have that randomness to it, but it's like the ones you really have to have. God, I wish they would just put them in dungeons, man. And I could just go beat the dungeon like the rest of the aspects that are there. But
There's only a few that I know of that are actually like for the Rogue, the Twisting Blades. That's one.
yep.
I can't remember the one for my Necro, but there was one in a dungeon, and then the Sorcerer there was one that you like have to have, but like everything else, it's like you just gotta hope you get it to drop. And hope it's like even near perfect to be able to do anything with it.
Yeah, the piercing ice one I think is one you top over sorcerer where you can pierce through multiple enemies with the ice
Yeah.
shards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that one. It was because I think you can pierce up like what 3 or 4 times, maybe even 5. I think
I
it's
don't
5.
remember. I know it like because you have like your frost shield and like your flame shield and stuff like that, and then your frost nova. And I know it does increase damage and it actually like chains off enemies too, while you have frost nova like active, which is cool. So it like pierces through enemies, but it also like chains to everybody that's being affected by like the frost nova, which is kind of cool. But again, after that though, you're like done because your mana's just your mana's just drained, rinse. You're like, that was cool to kill like 3 fucking enemies. Like, okay, run away, come back. It's like, I
Yeah,
don't
that was
know.
that was the irritating thing to me with moving into the season, like losing the barb where I had it, because like my whirlwind barb on the Eternal Realm, I just had got to the point in the Paragon board where I was finally just spinning, man. Like I was generating fury, I wasn't
Constantly.
having to stop. It was
Yeah.
really flowing, dude. And then right when that happened, they're like, "Nah, go make a new one." And it's like, God, dog. Because the first time my Eternal character, I didn't level as whirlwind, so I leveled, I think is just God, what is it? Hammer of the Ancients, which is to me, it's like God, it's like melee, 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 big slam, big slam. Generate, and spend. It gets boring to me. I hate that gameplay. Like I just
Yeah.
want to spin, man. I just want to move through stuff. So it irritated me so much when we had to move over because I'm like, God, now I got to get all these aspects again. I got to get all this gear because it's gear dependent, man. It's a big
It's super
Paragon dependent build.
gear-dependent.
And
Yeah.
it's my favorite one. So I'm like, fuck, I just did this, man. I don't want to redo it again at this point, but. I mean, what do you
Something
think
that's nice
about?
about my
Oh,
Necro though, it's not super gear dependent.
yeah,
Just it's like aspect dependent, but as far as like gear goes, like it's not super gear dependent, which is nice. So as long as you have like a couple decent aspects, you can have like a pretty decent Necro build. That's why I'm like, I'm just gonna go back to my Necro. I don't care about season anymore
what
because I
build
already
were
have
you
a decent
running?
enough build. I'm the bone shard build, but a lot of people like I substitute like exploding corpse for I can't remember what the other skill they say to have, but another one is like a tendrils, the body tendrils. But I have exploding corpse because that generates essence too. So my
Um,
minions are hitting, my bone shards pierce and leave echo trails that damage too. So I basically send my minions in. I slap like my curse down. They generate like fear and everything and vulnerability with my bone spears. And then I just whatever corpses they shed, I just spam exploding corpse. It also has AOE and it refills my essence instead of like having to wait for it to refill. So I'm just constantly juiced with essence. I'm like, I don't even care. I'm keeping exploding corpse.
so I mean, is that the biggest reason why you went back to the Eternal character because it was just like ready to go and
Pretty
you're
much. Like
rolling?
it's just yeah, it's I mean, my necro's a pretty like decent necro for only being like level 66, 65, I think now.
Yeah, you're up there. I mean, you're not up there the people who like grind the shit out of the game, right? But I
No,
mean, like
no, by no means.
for us
But for like
casually
a
playing it,
casual,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Which that's what this game is, man. In my opinion, Diablo 4 is casual, man. You know, Diablo in general, like D3 to me was a very casual, friendly game, and I think that's kind of just what it's built on, man. That Path of Exile game, that looks like a game where it's like that's like the Tarkov of this kind of a game. It seems like, and I haven't played a lot of PoE, it's just what I've seen. But there's like so many systems and huge skill trees and all sorts of shit you can do with it.
Yeah,
So
the
that
skill
seems like
tree is the
that.
biggest thing for Poe.
Did you play that at all?
I played it in high school for a little bit,
Oh,
and
okay.
Ricky didn't know anything about it, and I turned him onto it, and he became obsessed with it too. He's like, "What class did you play?" And I was like, "Dude, I don't remember." I was like, "I just remember sitting in the library and just gaming out." Like, but
Dude,
we
I
all
remember.
played, and then RuneScape too. We all played RuneScape a
Dude,
bunch.
I
We
didn't
we
play
played like Poe and
RuneScape.
RuneScape in school.
I didn't play that at all.
Yeah, Poe was very like in depth. Like I said, though, with the skill trees, like you have to look up a guide at least. Like, I mean, like most class build like games, you want to look up a guide, but like Poe, like you really had to look up a guide and be like, oh, otherwise you're not doing anything in that game. It's pretty funny because Ricky's like, man, I don't know, and then he's like, oh yeah, I did like 4 hours of research last night. I finally realized what I want to do. I was like, oh, just 4 hours? He's like, what? I was like, just wait, man.
Yeah, there's just so much.
I like the gear and skills though, and Poe. It was fun. I liked it.
Yeah, it's it's super complex for me, man, for what I want out of an ARPG. Like I said, those games are not like those aren't like a main game to me. So like I'm not going to put a super amount of time into builds and figuring all
Right.
that out. I did a little bit with D3, but there's not like too much you could do. As far as in depth, most of the gear building was, or most of the character building was just on the gear itself. Not even like they didn't have trees and stuff like that. You just had like the abilities and
Mhm.
like runes you could use off of it or whatever. But
Yeah.
what about then? This is the big thing, bro, and this is like I think what a lot of people are kind of talking about right now with it. What about season 2, man? Are you gonna come back and make a new character? Will you give it another chance in season 2 to do seasons again?
I'll give it a chance to like look and see what's like on the pass and on the season, but I'm not gonna like pre-order it or nothing. You got my money once. Okay, I know how this system works. Okay, you won't get it again
Yeah,
unless it's
no,
unless it's on my terms.
yeah, a lot of people have said that too. A lot of people have said, "Well, only reason why I'm even playing season 1 is because I bought the damn pass
Spent the
along with it."
money. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
had
spent
to
the
give it a
money.
shot. I bought it for Ricky too.
Oh God
He's
Almighty!
like, man, I was like, don't even worry about it. It's like it's cool, bro. But
Yeah,
I think
not
the other thing people had such high expectations for Diablo 4, and it's like what people fail to realize though too is like Diablo Immortal. That was kind of like their testing grounds for Diablo 4. Like if you think about it, like the game is so much like alike that it's like, all right, let's see how this system works. Here's Diablo Immortal, a free game, yada yada. That way people don't get pissed in case it is the same game and we charge you twice for it essentially. So so I really think Diablo Immortal was kind of like their test grounds for Diablo 4, and they were just like, yeah, it worked. Let's just run it, put Diablo 4 on it, which is kind of shitty because people had a lot of high expectations, but it's like Diablo Immortal was out. You could have seen what it was, the direction it was going. Like,
Well, I wish they would have brought over the dungeon queuing system from Immortal. I don't know why that's not in the game. I mean, when they brought out D4, they're saying, well, it's always online now, which I mean, we know why now because they want to do that damn store, and so that's the only thing. But it's like, why didn't you take advantage of like smaller raids, like 5-man content? I mean, there's world bosses, but I mean, why can't we go into a dungeon with 5 or 6 people and smash through and go through 4 or 5 bosses? I mean, that's a big advantage. That's the big advantage of being online to me at that point. And they already had the system created. They've already done it. So why didn't you just move it over into the other game? You know it's cool. And then when you have everybody in that raid with you, or even just in dungeons with you, you're seeing their gear, you're seeing the transmog. You know, this is what gets these people to buy this shit. So I don't understand why you wouldn't incorporate more activities that are going to increase the revenue, because that's the point of this store and this battle pass they're bringing to D4 from difference from D3 is you have like the Legion event, right? I mean, you have these world bosses where you're seeing people, but the camera's so far back, I can't even see my character, let alone anything anybody else is wearing. So it's like, what was your strategy here to try to sell shit in the store? Nothing looks cool than what I got because I can't even see what I got.
The only thing that's like actually like the MVP so far for like transmog and stuff is like being able to change the color. If I wasn't able to pick like yellow, I'd have no idea where the hell my character was, dude. I'm like, man, they gotta make some like really cool stuff that can make people stand out. Like, this is ridiculous.
The colors suck though in a lot of ways because there's like 4, man. You know, like why can't I at least let me buy colors?
I just accepted it. I was like, yellow.
Yeah,
go for practicality here.
I mean, at least you can quickly select like apply color to all. Like, imagine having to go through every slot and keep applying the color. Dude, I would have threw it out. You know what I mean? I would have done it one time and never changed it again. But I always find myself defaulting to the gray color scheme because it just, for me, it looks best on all the gear. Yeah. Or you can go red, and red looks good, but it's just like, it's too poppy. It makes it kind of cartoony a little bit more than I think what the game aesthetic is really going for, which is obviously darker and a lot more serious of a tone than 3 was, which I don't know why. Make the game fun. I liked the look of D3. Did you like the look of D3?
I played the hell out of D3. I love that game. And I think I bought it twice because I still have it on my PS3 out there, and then I think I bought it on PS4 and played it on there. Or no, it was Xbox One when I transitioned. So I had it on PS3 and then I bought it on the Xbox.
Dude, I've bought it so many times, bro. I bought it I bought it on PC when it originally came out. I think it was 2012. I bought it for Xbox 360. I bought it for Xbox One. I bought it for I think I bought it for PlayStation 3 or 4, just one of the two. And then obviously I bought it for Switch. And then
you bought on Switch too.
Oh
Mad,
yeah,
man.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, that was because I wanted to play it, and I wanted to play it on a TV, and I didn't have my PlayStation 4. That was put away, and I didn't have the PS5 yet. So I played it on Switch, which was cool. Plus, I want to take it with me. I can just kind of play Diablo 3 and I can grind out, turn it on, turn it on.
Did you play with Stephanie on the Switch at all?
No, not with her on the Switch. We played on the 360 when I first got it for couch co-op because I think it was 360. God, it could have been Xbox One, dude. I can't remember.
I think 360 was the same time as PS3, and I think it came out on the PS3.
Yeah, I think so. So I did it that way, and then when I got my PS5, man, you know I bought it again, dude. God, dog. I mean, it's like Skyrim for me at this point, which actually I bought.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which honestly, I bought D3 more than I ever bought Skyrim, but I mean, you know, we've all bought Skyrim probably 3 times, right?
I was gonna say minimum of like 3 times. You'd be lying if you said you didn't.
Yeah,
we all know you're lying.
Yeah, 100%.
Or Oblivion. Everybody's bought an Oblivion at least twice.
Well, did you see what's going on with Oblivion? The remake of it? Okay, so you know how so you know how that team is doing Sky Oblivion, right? That modding team? Okay. The rumor is that Bethesda has a company right now that's done remasters and reworks. I think they've worked with them before, but the rumor is they're now remastering Oblivion. Bethesda's doing it. And it's like, bro, you're just gonna dig into them like that? You're just gonna cut them off? It's kind of crazy. Like, they've waited so long. But here's what I think, if this is true. This is why I think this happened. The Sky Oblivion guys made a mistake. And I don't think that I got to fly on some kind of thing on me.
I know, I seen it earlier.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? But they made a mistake, in my opinion. A couple of months ago, they released a video which was essentially them asking for help to finish up the game, and they were like showing all the progress they had done, which was a fair amount. I mean, they're getting close to 80% done with the game.
Yeah, I was like, they were like 3/4 of the way, like
Yeah.
a year ago. So
Yeah, they're really close now. And of that video, I think got a lot of views. Now, Bethesda is watching that channel. They're seeing where they're at.
well, they have to.
Yeah. And so I'm guessing if it's true, they might have said, wait a second, these guys have been working on this shit for like 6 or 7 years. We kind of never really thought they would maybe it would close down. Maybe they'd stop working on it, but they're actually getting close. And this is going to be free. No. If Oblivion's getting remastered, we're going to make some cash off this.
Well, the other reason why they messed up is because they made it to Bethesda's standards also, because that was like part of the deal. If you remember us talking about it, it was like it can either be this standard or better. It can't be below it. Otherwise, we won't like endorse or let you do it. And they're like, all right, bet.
Yeah.
So they kind of messed up doing that too.
Yeah, and now me, I would probably buy the remaster and play Sky Oblivion. I'd play probably whichever one that came out first.
I absolutely would.
But dude, there's a lot of people I think that would just, if both of them came out, they'd go, oh, there's a free one that's really good, 60 frames. I'm not touching the remaster. I'm not paying. And so I think they're like, nah, man, we gotta get this stuff out before they're done and make this cash. Because, I just think they made a little bit of a mistake with that video that they didn't think about, But I mean, Bethesda's never
gap.
Yeah. But I think they kind of figured that they wouldn't try to cross them. They probably were like, guys, they see us making all this for all this long. They're not gonna come pull one over on us, man. Brother, they are a publicly traded company. They are gonna smash you for that money, 100%.
What they want.
Yeah, they're gonna.
Did you see the Metal Gear Solids are coming out?
No,
Yeah,
no. Which
trilogy.
ones?
One,
all
two, and
3?
three. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Sons of Liberty was the one I want to play.
Yeah, I never played that one, but that was like a lot of people's favorite.
Would you do Snake Eater? Did you play that
3,
one?
Yeah, 3 is my favorite.
3. That's a big one, man. Everybody loved that one.
It should be in the corner of the case right there.
that one looked really hard. Snake Eater looked crazy hard. There's like one of the bosses in there.
One.
Yeah, one of the bosses that you fight in like a jungle area is supposed to be like one of the hardest bosses ever.
Yeah, the sniper.
Yeah, the sniper.
But what's cool about that game though is like there's so many different ways to like kill all the bosses and go through the game, and like even like with your internal system for your PlayStation, like you can change the date and time in your PlayStation, and then load the game up, and that dude will be dead from old age.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
It's really cool, like all the different things you can do in that game.
Man, what's his name? Kojima? He really put the tryhards on, huh?
Oh yeah.
He wants to be a filmmaker, man. He's always wanted to be a filmmaker.
You want to know what's crazy too is because like the way he made those games and everything, I think it's in Japan or China. They have slot machines now with like the cutscenes that have been totally redone from Metal Gear Solid 3, and they play like on the slot machine. Dude, it is ridiculous looking. It's so cool looking, man. There's so many videos of people that are just sitting there like watching over someone's shoulder, like gambling, like just filming the slot machine for the vids. It's like, it's crazy looking, bro. That's why like everybody wanted like an actual like remaster. I don't think this one's like gonna be a remake. It's just gonna be a remaster, unfortunately. But I'm still down with it because I've never played 2. I played 1 and 3, and then I think I played the demo for like Sons of Patriot.
Yeah, man, it's been so long. It's crazy to think about how old those games are now, It's like I remember them coming out, dude.
Yeah.
It's really getting out there, man. I don't know. It's like I don't mind them doing. I'd rather have them do remakes more than remasters. I don't mind them doing them.
Sure.
I still want new IPs. Like the industry the industry is it's so bad right now for gaming, man. We need new IPs. That's why like I'm so happy that Marathon is coming out, that Bungie's making this survival looter shooter, because dude, and there's so many people in the Destiny community are just crying their eyes out about it, and I'm thinking what if they never moved off of Halo, man? We never would have got Destiny. Okay, you didn't even know you wanted that game. Okay, so if Marathon comes out and you love it, great. It's a brand new IP. Everybody wins. We get a great new game. If it flops, you already know Bungie's got to make the money. They're going to go right back to Destiny, and you're probably going to get Destiny 3. So I don't see how you lose. You don't lose with them taking some of the money from Destiny and creating a new IP.
Excited.
Dude, I'm over the moon. I'm never look. I got the Escape from Tarkov City in the background there, but like,
yeah, I know.
Trust me, buddy. I've escaped. Once they said Marathon was there, I have escaped from Tarkov. I'm not playing Tarkov ever again. I'm done. Nikita, you're never gonna fix that game, okay? And so I'm I'm out. I take my 4,000 hours, dude, and my 4,000 headaches, and get out of there, dude. I mean,
not only that, but $100 and something for the edition, Edge of Darkness edition. Like,
I mean, we got our money's worth. We can't argue that.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, still the biggest scam in the world, bro. We all fell for it. So.
Yeah, I mean that they were going to complete the game. Yeah, I mean it's because a lot of the new patches that have been coming out for it. I mean, I still see stuff on it, and they supposedly fixed a lot of desync, and so I went into Landmark stream the other night. And I typed in chat, I was like, so is the desync better or not, for real? And dude, like so many people like added me right after it, and they were like, yeah, it's somewhat better. It's not as bad. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, that means it's probably the same, bro. You guys are in here that's the copium heaven right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All the Kool-Aid.
So I was like, I don't really know what to believe. But I don't really care. I'm telling you, Marathon really did it, man. That was my my cure-all, dude. For wanting to go back. I still love the game. It was fun to play at the time. I don't regret any of the time on it. But it's time to move on, man. Marathon's got to be the deal.
Yeah, I can't wait. When does that come out?
Oh, I mean, we don't even know. I mean, they haven't.
I don't know if they released anything yet.
No. What would have been cool if I'd have had the trailer loaded up, and we can. You know, we could do that. Actually, why don't we do that? Next week, dude. What we'll do is we'll watch that that like 30-minute video Bungie did on Marathon talking about it. We can stop and start it and go through, and we'll comment on it. That'll be our gaming section, dude. That sounds pretty cool.
That's cool.
So what do you think? And we can kind of end on this, unless you have some other things you want to say on it, because we're getting about an hour and a half. We said about an hour and a half, right? That's what we do.
Yeah.
Jake Paul, Nate Diaz is tonight, dude. What do you think? Who you got in that fight, bro? Have you looked into any of
that? Probably Diaz, honestly. I think Diaz is gonna win.
What makes you think Diaz? Because I'm the opposite. I'm Jake. I think Jake's gonna end up winning it.
Yeah, I originally thought for Jake, but now it's like, nah, I don't know. I think Diaz is one of those people that just really wants it. He's had enough of Jake Paul, man. He's super upset and annoyed by that dude. I think he's gonna just go in there hungry.
Yeah, I mean, he could definitely go in hungry. I just, he's 38. I mean, Jake's 26. Jake is so much faster than him, dude. And I just think at the end of the day, like, Jake's just been training pure boxing for so long. I mean, the overall time in the fight game is so different between them two, but it's just Nate sparring and boxing is just different, bro. It's different. Yeah. I think he's got skills, but I think at his age with the speed, I don't think he'll be able to pull it off. I think he'll land some damage for sure. I don't think he'll get blown out. But I think the only thing, I'll put it to you like this, the only way I would give Nate a real shot to win is if he does kind of what Floyd did to Conor in the second half of Conor's boxing match, which is if Nate gets inside and kind of is able to cover up and get in and kind of really shell up and throw hands like that and land on him and kind of overwhelm him against the corner with pressure. I think that could work because Nate's so damn durable, dude. He's a damn take.
Oh, yeah.
The only time he's been close to getting knocked out was he took a head kick from Josh Thompson and he still didn't go out, bro. I mean, he getting hit with shin bone and he's still there.
Steel plates all inside that dude's body. There's got to be.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think he can weather some damage, but I just think that Nate's so much, or Jake's so much bigger. There's more power because Nate's not a power puncher. It's, he's not knocking people out like crazy. So.
No, he runs them down and finally just like finishes them.
It's a long game with him. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I want Nate to win just for the fact that like everybody wants Jake Paul to win, honestly. But I mean, I hope Jake Paul doesn't win because it'd be really cool.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I want Nate to win too. I do. I'd love to see Jake lose. It'd be quite funny, of course. Mainly because he loses to Tommy Fury, he loses to the boxer. After everybody said all this time, well, wait until he fights a boxer, wait till he fights a boxer, and he kept saying everybody's saying that about me, and then he does fight the boxer and loses, and then he just crawls back to MMA. So I'd like to see Nate win for sure and kind of put an end to the saga, even though it is entertaining with the guy. It is. Yeah. It's fun.
I don't think he's like too old or anything for that either to be boxing against Jake Paul. He's trained nothing but in that.
Oh, you think Nate?
Like, yeah, I don't think like it's gonna really be that big of a difference, honestly. I mean, look at people like fucking Mike Tyson that are how old, and like you ever watch that dude like spar and stuff? It's like, what in God's name, dude?
Yeah,
reflexes of an F1 driver. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, Mike Tyson's a different beast though. He's a whole different kind of animal, man.
Yeah, but still, a lot of people of like age and everything. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like if somebody wants it enough, they can keep it up and keep training and still kind of stick with it and roll with it. So we'll see. He'll either crawl out like a snail of an old man, or
yeah.
Are you gonna watch the fight tonight or no?
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna see how we watch it. We're gonna see how. At the end of the day. No, I thought about the biggest reason why I thought about buying it, and not doing it the other way that some people do. Never saying that I did that. I've never done it that way. I've only ever bought the stuff personally, but if I would buy it because I mean, Nate's fun, dude, and yeah, wouldn't it be great? Here's the reason why I would buy it. You want to know why I'd spend my hard-earned money on it, brother? You know why? Because here's what I want. I want because it's 10-round fight. I want round 6 and I want round 6 or round 7 to come out, and I want Nate or Jake looking real tired. He's thrown a million punches. Nate's just still there, and then I want Nate to kind of walk across like Jason, dude, and just kind of point at him and laugh and be like, "You're gassed," and I'm not, and then just pour it on him. Yeah, man. I mean, that would be incredible. That's I think what every Nate fan wants to see. Nate just kind of come
make it to that many rounds, though. Honestly,
really, what you think Nate will take him out earlier than round 6 or 7?
Yeah, I'd say 4 or 5.
Wow, dude.
You watch. he probably will just knock him out cold, but I don't know.
Dude, it would take a hell of a... I mean, as long as he's got the accuracy, I think, right, to be able to land on him for sure. Yeah. I just don't know if he's got the speed to get there,
We'll see.
We will see, man. We will see. Well,
I gotta figure out how I'm gonna watch it.
Oh, well, we'll have to find out how we're going to do it. We're going to buy it, okay?
Let's find somebody.
Yeah, we're going to buy it. That's it. We're going to buy it. It's got nothing to do with Discord and showing screens. And stop it. Nobody does that, okay? No one's going to be doing any of that.
My emulator.
Yeah, that too. Well, I mean, brother, for an opening podcast being cleared for takeoff here, dude. Hour 35 in, dude. This has been fun, man. Did you have fun?
Oh, well, duh.
I know, stupid question, bro. I know. You got to ask those dumb questions that everybody asks on that stuff sometimes just for the laughs.
Some people might be like, this was miserable. I hate talking to people.
I mean, I enjoyed it, man. It's cool. Obviously, this is our opening episode. It's going to get way better. I mean, the more and more we get more comfortable doing this and get some experience on it. That's a big part of it to me. Is I just want to be able to get reps of this under my belt, and we'll get more topics. And I mean, obviously, we're still going to be with UFOs is going to be the majority of what we're going to go over. At least like an hour of that, and then like maybe 35 minutes of MMA or gaming kind of mixed together in that last half hour. And if we want to do more after that, we can. I mean, hour and a half's a cool distance for me. But if we end up wanting to go more, I'm always down to do that, bro.
For an hour and a half, it went by like way faster than like when I used to do it.
It does.
It was crazy.
Yeah,
I did not expect that.
No. Well, dude, thanks for doing it with me here, brother, and hanging out, man. Because I mean, I think I could ramble at a screen, but I don't want to if I don't have to. It's way more fun to talk to somebody else.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
I agree.
all
Well,
right,
thanks
well,
for having me.
yeah, brother. Same, same, same.
See you next week. You know.
We'll be back next week. Oh, and so before we go, actually, what are we thinking? Thursdays or Saturdays? Somewhere in there is where we're gonna land on a time. For actually when our consistency will be on that, but probably Thursdays or Saturdays, because I mean those days work for you better, don't they?
Yeah, and especially if we do it like on a Saturday, like because it's like evening now. Well,
Yeah. What about for
it's 8:30
time?
now,
When
but
we started at what, like just before 7? I mean, what time you think? I mean, I know your schedule is gonna shift sometimes, but
I don't know, like 6 or 7's fine for me
okay.
for like starting.
Yeah, it's pretty
Plus,
good.
it's nicer set up for like in the room and everything too. Like I said, otherwise I'd have that window just like washing everything out and be
Yeah,
annoying.
that's true. Okay.
So
Well,
yeah,
we'll try to
I'm
do
down.
that Thursday or Saturday, somewhere in there. After an episode or two, I'm sure we'll nail down a time we really, really like at that point. But absolutely. And like everybody always says, like, share, subscribe.
Click that bell.
Click the bell. God, man, I'll be honest with you. Even after a year or so streaming on Twitch, I never thought I'd do anything on YouTube and say those words. But
I've never said click the bell. That's why it's so
Yeah.
funny. I watch stuff on YouTube and like, remember, like, subscribe, click that bell. I'm like,
absolutely,
oh, yeah, there's a bell.
yeah, there definitely is. But all right, well, thank you everybody for watching, and we will be back, Frenchie. I'll talk to you on the other side, buddy.
All right, man. See ya.
See ya.